Good morning everyone. Today's video I will report. This report is the continuation report of Group 9, and our topic is ensuring teacher quality through competency framework and standards. So this subject is the teaching profession, and this subject is under of Sir Gregor Lagamon. So let's proceed to my topic assigned, which is the Philippine Qualification Framework. The Philippine Qualification Framework was established in 2012 through Executive Number 83, while its governance is stipulated in the Ladderized Education Act of 2014. The passage of PQF Act in January 18 provided the legal support for its full implementation. So it describes the levels of educational qualification, the official recognition of a person's learning achievements. It also sets the standards for qualification outcomes, which are the knowledge or skills gained by students after undergoing a certain learning or educational program. The purpose of the Philippine Qualification Framework is to adopt national standards and levels for outcomes of education. Also to support the development and maintenance of pathways and equivalencies which provide access to qualification and assist people to move easily. So that's all, and let's proceed to letter D, the Philippines Professional Standard for Teachers. It describes the level of education qualification and sets the standards for qualification outcomes. As defined in RA 10968, qualification refers to a formal certification that a person has successfully achieved specific learning outcomes relevant to the identified academic industry or community. A qualification confers official recognition of value in the world of education and training work and job creation. Order number 42, 2017. On August 11, 2017, Philippine Professional Standards for Teacher was signed into policy by the Department of Education Secretary Leonor Magtoles Briones. And in additional order in order 2017, it is the national adoption and implementation of the Philippines Professional Standards for Teachers on Department of Education. And we have a 7 domain in Philippine Professional Standard for a teacher. So in domain number one, which is the content knowledge and pedagogy, is composed of 7 standards. Number one. Number one is the content knowledge and its application within across curriculum areas, which means a teacher with a better content knowledge who know to teach the subject to a specific audience should create student gains over or less prepared or less experienced teacher. A key point, however, is that it is a very difficult to provide enough additional training to educators once they have begun in teaching. Number two is research-based knowledge and principles of teaching and learning. So it means that research-based teaching means that students carry out research in their courses independently and with an open outcome. This form of teaching and learning focuses on the joint acquisition of new knowledge by lecturers and students. This requires lecturers to reflect on their roles as a teacher and a learner. So let's proceed to number 3, which is positive use of ICT. Probably the largest effect that ICT use has on society is allowing members of society to have greatly increased access to information. This can have numerous positive effects, such as increasing opportunities for education, improving communication. Number 4. Number 4. Strategies for promoting literacy and numeracy. It means that literacy and numeracy are important because they form of the basis of our learning. They are required to learn other skills as well as for participation in everyday life. Literacy and numeracy skills underpin workforce participation, productivity, and the broader economy, and can also impact on social and health outcome. Number 5. Strategies for development, critical and creative thinking, as well as other higher order thinking skills, means that active learners are always questioning. Students who take responsibility for asking their own questions become more productive and engage in their learning processes. Metacognition, or thinking about thinking, involve questioning our individual and learning process. Number 6, mother tongue, Filipino and English in teaching and learning. So, mother tongue in, in education refers to when a school or educational institution integrates the language a child is most familiar with their mother tongue into the classroom lesson along with the school's lesson, such as English. This is normally the language that the child speak at home with their family. Also, mother tongue is the language which a child start hearing after being born, and thus it also helps in providing a definite shape to our emotions and thoughts. Learning in your mother tongue also is crucial in enhancing other skills, such as critical thinking skills and learn a second language and literacy skills. Number 7 is classroom communication strategies. So, the role of communication strategies in the classroom communication. Classroom communications aims to share information and to create the same point of view among the teachers and students. The effective classroom communication will be in successful teaching and learning process. So that's all in domain number 1. So let's proceed in domain number 2. Learning environment consists of six strands. So the number 1 is learner safety and security. Safety and security also encompasses social emotional well-being. Keeping schools safe allows children to look forward to being in an encouraging environment that promotes social and creative learning. When their basic safety needs are not met, children are at risk for not feeling comfortable at school and may stop showing up, or they may remain on edge throughout the day. And that's all. So let's proceed to number 2. Fair fair learning environment. So students do not choose and follow only one teacher for their learning anymore, such as diverse environment. Student more option. Create well-developed lesson plans, an organized classroom, and clear expectation for all students. Collaborate with the students on projects and let them help to make classroom decisions. Number 3 is the management of classroom structures and activities. So, classroom management refers to the wide variety of skills and techniques that teachers use to keep students organized, orderly, focused, attentive on tasks, and academically productive during a class. Number 4 is the support for for learner participation. Learner participation involves information sharing, active collaboration, and other forms of communication and expression through which young people and adults enter into dialogue so that each other views are taken into account and become consequential. Number 5 is promotion of purposive learning. So means that promotion of purposive learning demonstrate knowledge of learning environment that motivates learners to work productively by assuming responsibility for their own learning. And number 6 is management of learner behavior. Means that managing student behavior means using of set educational practices and strategies. On one hand, to prevent and effectively manage inappropriate behavior, and on the other hand, creating and maintaining an environment that promotes both teaching and learning. And that's all for domain number 2. And let's proceed for domain number 3. In domain number 3, with diversity of learners consists of five strands. Number 1 is learner gender needs, strengths, interests, and experiences. Means that the first step to differentiate for interests is to find out what students care about and like to do. Student surveys and learning profile cards are two methods of collecting the data. Parents and students providing these details send the message that their experience matter. So the number 2 is learner linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious backgrounds. So understood, it's all about um, cultural. So let's proceed to number 3. Learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talent. So students who are gifted and also have learning disabilities are those who possess an outstanding gift or talent and are capable of high performance, but also who have a learning disability that makes some aspect of academic achievements difficult. They learn more quickly and independently than most students their own age. They often have well-developed vocabulary as well as advanced reading and writing skills. They are very motivated, especially on tasks that are challenging or difficult. And let's proceed to number 4. Learners in difficult circumstance. So these are children whose family cannot provide them adequate adequate care, safety, and protection. Children in difficult circumstances or the CIDC are the prime focus, and it ranges from children who are victims of child rights violations, as well as children deprived of their basic survival education, health, and protection needs. Let's proceed to the number 5, learners from indigenous group. So, the learners from indigenous group make meaning of what they learn through spiritually. Spiritually in learning involve students making connections between morals, values, and intellect rather than simply acquiring knowledge. Na- that knowledge to indigenous people is personal and involves emotion, culture, traditional and skills, and nature. And that's all. And domain number 3, and that's end of my report. And thank you. Thank you.